Hi, my name is Kelvin Newman and welcome to the Brighton SEO podcast, where we share talks from one of the world's most popular search marketing conferences. The event started out as a few people meeting in an upstairs room of a pub and is now attended by over 3,000 people from all over the world. This episode is a recording of one of the speakers at a recent event.
Up next, we have Francois Goube. Francois is the CEO and founder of log file analyzer and data platform OnCrawl. His talk today is actually going to be about how to optimize your crawl budget. Francois, thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Francois. Today, I'm very happy to be with you today. As you may have noticed with my accent, I am French. And I'm really happy to be with you today because we're going to talk about something that is very underestimated in all SEO communities around the world. And as Chris has pointed out, he talked about the crawl budget. We're going to go deeper into that concept. And you will see that you can boost your rankings if you manage your crawl budget right. So, I'm the CEO and founder of OnCrawl. I'm also the French Majestic ambassador. What you need to know about me is that I'm a nerd. I love read Google patents. So that's why I love technical SEO. Today, my mission is to help you grow your inner SEO superhero. To do that, we need some knowledge, we need some tools. I'll try to point you to the right metrics, the right tools you can use to optimize your crawl budget. So let's get the party started. First thing first, you need to have a look at what Google has to say about about its crawl budget. To sum it all up, Google says there are a lot of things involved in what people are calling crawl budget. Basically, you shouldn't focus too much on your crawl budget because most of the time, we are doing a very, very good job at indexing your website. But I'm sorry, this is not true. This is bullshit. Truth is, in most of the case, Google is not knowing all your website. To be aware of that, you need to dive into your log files. The problem with log files, a log file looks like that. It's ugly. And you need the proper tools to understand what's in it. You can use software like OnCrawl and plenty of SaaS solutions on the market. There are plenty of open source initiatives so that you can do it for free. So we even fork Kibana at OnCrawl, so to tailor Kibana for SEO purpose. So feel free to download it from our GitHub. So you don't have any excuse not to look at your log file. The main thing with the log file analysis is that you can know what Google is doing on your web pages. How often does the Google bot is coming to your website? Which pages are fetched? Stuff like that. And the coolest thing is that you also have all referring traffic data within your log so that you can spot what are the zones of your website that are receiving the most part of your traffic. I think that every webmaster should keep an eye on its crawl budget. First thing, as Chris said, you can check it within your Search Console, within the Exploration Statistics tab, but you need to explain this line. And the only way to explain it is to look at your log files. Because there can be many issues, many parameters that will affect how Google behaves on your website. What you need to know is that by doing some log analysis, you can check some weird behavior. This is the number of bots hits and the number of pages crawled on a particular day. And we find out that when Google is emulating JavaScript resources, they don't do it very often. They are doing it once in a while. And you can spot when Google is crawling your website emulating JavaScript. The reason why they don't do it very often is that because it's costing a lot. To give you an accurate view on that, we are crawling website emulating JavaScript as well. It costs something like 10 times standard URL crawling. So even Google has limited resources, and it's very important to understand that because it's very important to understand the crawl budget. Google tries to save its resources while crawling the web. And what you need to learn from this slide is that when you are optimizing your Google crawl budget, you will ending up better rankings. So, you should think the crawl budget as basically the number of pages Google wants to fetch every day. And you will see that this number may not vary a lot, except if you are doing the right optimizations. So that's what we are going to see now. Just one point. As an SEO, you want to point Google to the right pages. Call it money pages, priority pages, whatever. All your pages are not bound in crawl, so you want Google to see your top-selling products, your brand pages, stuff like that. So let me give you a quick example. Here you can see, this is a dashboard from log monitoring. You can see here that I have mapped my website. This website is an e-commerce vendor selling tires, one of the biggest player in France. Here you can see the unique number of pages Google is fetching category by category. You can see that I have a category called Other. This is a garbage category, pages with no value at all. And it's a tiny line on top of each bar chart. When you're looking at the number of pages matching the Other category, it's just 100 pages, unique pages. So very small amount of pages. But when you're looking at how often Google is crawling those pages, you can see that the gray category, the Other category, Google is wasting like 70%, 80% of its resources crawling those unvaluable pages. This means you have an internal linking structure problem. You may have other problems as well. And what you can see here is that they have made a release, a new release of their website, and they improve things, but there is a lot of work to do. To understand how Google behaves, we went through tons of patents from Google. And what we've learned is that Google is trying to crawl the best pages on the web. So to do that, they rely on several parameters, and we're going to go into this. But something you need to learn is that crawl scheduling is a big thing. Because as Google is trying to save its resources, scheduling is very important to crawl first, online media, and not a spammy porn website. There are many ways to do that. So the slides will be shared on SlideShare, so you will have access to all these patterns if you're interested. Something very, very important we find out looking at those patterns is page importance. Page importance is not the page rank. Page importance is a score computed by Google to help him schedule its crawl. So it's a score based on several parameters, such as page depth level, what you can call authority, think trust flow from Majestic. What's the internal popularity of a page? We have a score at OnCrawl called the in-rank. What is a kind of document you have? Are your pages included in sitemaps? Do you have variety in your anchors? And most of all, do you have near duplicates? What's the size of your content? Stuff like that. To understand how Google may be affected by those parameters, you need to combine crawl data and log data to understand what Google is doing. So the main question is, what are the factors that are really influencing Google crawl budget? And again, all websites are not born equal, so depending on the size of your website, your topic, Google won't behave the same. So if you're a classifieds website or a niche e-commerce player, there are different parameters that will get involved. So just a few examples. Here is page depth level compared to what Google is doing. So you can see the deeper you're going into your architecture, the less Google wants to crawl your pages. Number of words. Does it have an impact? Of course, as an SEO guy, you are thinking, okay, let's add some content, make it unique. But the big question is, how many words do I need to add to my product page to get it crawled? So this is a way to understand from which level you are assured to be crawled or not. The quality of your HTML code, the quality of your HN optimizations. You can see here that when on this website, and again, all websites are not born equal, so depending on the size of your website, depending on the topic, these kind of parameters may vary. You can see that when you have an H1 that is unique, you get a lot of pages that are crawled, but when it's duplicated, you are shooting yourself in the feet. Same thing for the number of inlinks pointing to your pages, because depending on the number of inlinks you get to a particular page, you are driving more or less authority, more or less internal popularity. So again, the question is, it seems obvious, right? As an SEO, if I get links, I will get crawled. But again, the big question is, how many links do I need to have? And you can also check the call frequency and to think about how big is this parameter, what's the influence of that kind of parameter. And you can check it for any ranking factor. And something you need to think about as well is orphan pages. An orphan page is a page that is not linked from your internal linking structure, but that Google knows. There can be many cases. There can be out-of-stock products, because in your online shop you have this rule that is saying, okay, if a product is out of stock, then delete the link to that particular product page. There can be 2016 collection that is not available anymore, but so you deleted all the links, but the pages are still responding to OK. So Google is still fetching them, even if they don't get any links. There can be mistakes. While you revamp your internal linking structure, your menus, your faceted navigation, stuff like that. There can be orphan pages because they are included in your sitemap, but not in your internal linking structure. So it can be a problem because they don't get any links, they don't get any popularity. So chances are they can't rank, except if they get backlinks. And you're wasting Google budget on those pages. So the main question is how to deal with my orphan pages. So first thing first, you need to ask the question, is it normal? Is it a mistake, or is it normal that I don't link to those orphan pages? If it's normal, okay, I don't want them to be linked. Do they receive organic traffic? If I don't want them to be linked, is that I don't want them to be on my website. So I should use a redirect if they are receiving organic traffic, because you want to point the juice, the traffic, to other parts of your website. If they don't, ask yourself if the page is valuable for your current business. And if the answer is yes, ask the first question again. If it's not normal that you don't point a link to those orphan pages, then obviously add a link from your structure. And if the page here is not valuable for your current business, put a no index via the robots.txt. It's very important because if you add no index within your meta robot, Google still has to fetch the page to read the meta robots. So you're not saving Google's crawl budget. It will take some time for Google to understand that he does not have to fetch that kind of page. And if you can't answer those questions, ask an agency. I know that there are lots of people here in the UK. I'm thinking about Homicido, for instance, that has terrific use case on orphan pages. So you should ask an expert to find a way to improve that kind of stuff. What you can expect from optimizing your Google's crawl budget is that you can do more with less. By pointing Google in the right direction to your priority pages, then you will end up having some more active pages, because you remember Google has barely the same number of pages he wants to fetch every day. So by pointing him to the right zone of your website, you are making Google understand that these are the parts of your website that are valuable. So you will end up get more active pages, better indexation, and of course, you will boost your organic traffic. So feel free to put a no index. It's a weapon of mass destruction, but if you're following Chris' advice, I believe you will do a good job. But don't be afraid to use those no index, because it will correct a lot of problems very quickly. So with that in mind, you can grow your organic traffic with less pages. Thank you all, guys. Thank you for having me here. If you want to stop by our booth, we're booth 29 downstairs. You can try to win a 1-year subscription to OnCrawl Log Analyzer and SEO Crawler. So feel free to ask questions at the end of the session as well. Thank you a lot.
This was originally recorded at a Brighton SEO conference. If you want to listen to more episodes or find out about the conference itself, you can do at brightonseo.com.